Hey guys, doing something a little bit different this week instead of our regular cold open nonsense. We're going to be supporting two charities this week. One going to be Make a Wish for the month of July. The other cause, though, I just shared the link for this in the chat. Is something with our guest tonight with Robert Ottone. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so my dad's birthday, 77th birthday, would have been July 28th of this month. He passed away a few years ago, so I thought it would be kind of fun to do a charity for a fundraiser for his favorite charity, which is St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And I'm in the middle of revisions, or I'm about to start revisions again on a novel that I have coming out probably before the end of the year called Curse of the Cob Man. And it's a really insane creature that my friends and I sort of created in high school, actually. And it's set in upstate New York. It's very much like a fall kind of Halloweeny, spooky, mystery, murder, gory, splotchy, crazy fest. And the top two donors will get their names in the book. They can choose a fake name if they want to, but I think it'd be a lot more fun to have a real name in there. And you will more than likely be killed in gruesome fashion by the creature that I'm creating.
Which leads me to something I was doing backstage right before the show. I currently have the top donation on that page, and I'm not using my real name. No, we are using Jeff Alterman.
Jeff Alterman.
Yes, it's Jeff Alterman.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
For roping. I like that.
You're a jabroni.
Go ahead.
Gentlemen, it's Wednesday night. It's What the Show. My name is AJ Lancaster. I'm one of your co-hosts, and welcome to JeffCon 2023.
I will donate whatever. I will sell my liver to donate money to make sure that Jeff Alterman gets to be killed by the Cob Man. This is now my life goal.
Yeah, just anybody who wants to contribute to this, just donate, and in the description, just put character name Jeff Alterman. That's what I did, and we're just gonna keep this rolling.
If he also can get called a jabroni at any point, that would really make
my
life.
If you can work in the word jabroni before he gets killed.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And then we're gonna get a copy of the book sent. We're not gonna tell him.
No, we're not going to tell him this running gag, and then we're going to just send him a copy of the book and be like, we really recommend this book, and just wait till he reads it. It'd be so good.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, once again, we are the Deacons. Justin the Juice is going to be coming in hot at some point. He probably will just show up at some point in the stream.
Water parks. We were talking about water parks backstage, and that is where the Juice is right now.
Yeah, he's with the youth group at a water park in Wisconsin. So yeah, he's going to be coming in hot.
We're going to talk about, well, first of all, we're going to let Robert, because we were explaining this backstage, we do our hard closes. So we do our plugs, we're going to get to the nitty-gritty at the beginning. But first of all, speaking of Wisconsin, I just want to throw out my newfound love for the most Midwestern man in all of the United States of America, and that's Kirk Cousins. We will be discussing Kirk Cousins tonight. William, I see you in the chat. You know I'm a Detroit Lions fan till I die, but I do love Kirk Cousins. Actually, thinking about MCDC and Kirk Cousins together would be chef's kiss. But anyhow, just had to throw that. We will be discussing Kirk Cousins tonight, everyone. Prepare yourselves.
So before we get into that, for those of you who don't know who our guest is today, somebody I've known for a long time. We actually were a year apart. We went to the same high school, and recently I was going through and I saw him on social media. I'm like, holy shit, how am I not friends with him? And found out about what Robert's going to tell us about. This is Robert Ottone, who is a fellow Long Islander just like me. And Robert, you've had like a real interesting past couple of years. And tell everybody about what you've been up to.
Yeah. I have, my normal day job, I am a teacher, but I'm also a author. And last month in June 2023, I won the Bram Stoker Award for Superior Achievement in a Young Adult Novel.
That is so cool.
Yeah, thank you. And it's like crazy because I wrote that book when I was getting my MFA. I have like 3 master's degrees. All of them are useless. And my
favorite kind.
Yeah, totally. And so writing my novel during my MFA, I had COVID. It was crazy. So it was very hallucinogenic in many parts, but apparently it was good enough to win Horror's Top Literary Prize. So that's pretty cool. And actually that's it, right? Wait, I always get confused on StreamYard. There it is right there. That's the award right there. But yeah, so like that happened back in April. My new novel, The Vile Thing We Created, just came out, or not just came out, but it came out in April. And we sold like an unbelievable amount of copies in less than a month. And my publisher my publisher is an awesome guy, super sweet. He just sends me emojis now, like celebratory emojis when like we hit a sales milestone. So I just assume now. I used to ask, I'd be like, what does that one mean? And then he'd explain it. And now I just go, all right, cool. You know, like I'm just whatever about it. It's very fun. It's cool. So I'm like sort of in the middle of like a summer book tour kind of thing. But the book tour it'll like more or less wrap up like October. The end of October is when my stuff will start dying down. But in the meantime, I'm literally going to Massachusetts tomorrow, and then I'm going to some other places. I was supposed to go to Pennsylvania, but I had to cancel that because a serial killer had to go and get himself caught here on the island. Thank God. So I did a lot of true crime stuff too, and cover the Long Island serial killer, who hopefully is the guy that they just arrested and are charging with 3 of the murders. And so I've been kind of had to like do and I don't know how I think this happened because of my Twitter, but like I got tapped to be sort of a talking head type person on a couple news things. So that's been going on the past like week or so.
What a wild summer you're having. And then a serial killer finally got caught, and so then like what a wild time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, but it's like, you know, and here I was thinking all I was going to do was teach driver's ed this summer, and now
little did you know.
Here we are. Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy for the busy. You know, it wouldn't be a fun summer if it wasn't busy.
Just throwing in just randomly that you teach driver's ed, just like your patience and energy must know no bounds with everything else.
It's, you know what, it's easy when the kids are good, and thankfully like I've got a bunch of good students this year. But yeah, no, it's when they're awful, that's when it's terrible, because you can't even leave a parking lot. If they're really bad, you just don't leave a parking lot.
That's fair.
Oh man,
that could be subject matter for a future book.
I was gonna say, I now understand why you write horror, because driver's ed teach. Yeah, that is honestly the scariest thing, I think.
Yeah, the parents are scarier than anything else, because it's like they put this like, I don't know, like when I was learning to drive, like my whole family, it was like my sister, my parents, everybody was like all hands on deck. And they were all dope. Like they were all cool and calm and collected, and like they enjoyed teaching. They asked me to drive all the time. Parents nowadays, there's always one who's like a total psychopath, and they're just like, "Oh my God!" and they grab the wheel and stuff. Like my students tell me this stuff all the time, and I feel so bad because like they need time, you know, like they need time at home. But they're like, "Oh, my mom freaks out," and it's like I just want to tell all the parents, just chill out, man.
Yeah,
parents are the worst part of teaching.
100%. I feel like any profession in which you work with children, parents are the worst part. I'm not a teacher, but I work at a pediatric dentist, and I've never had any issues with a child. I have had issues with the parents.
Yeah, it really is always the case, because everybody, you know, people always assume like, oh, kids, they don't care about anything, and they don't care about anything, but they're not like bad, you know, like. It's just whatever. You just have to realize like it's a job, you know, and then it's like, oh, you want to do your work? No? Cool. I'm going to give you a 50 and you're going to pass anyway because it's New York State. Who cares? So, You know, like New York doesn't care anymore. The war on education's over. But like, you know, it's always the parents who are like crazy hardcore. I gave a kid a 75 and it dropped his average 2 points and I had to have a meeting about it.
Yeah, actually that sounds about right. Yeah.
So the best thing too is like, so the parents there, the head of the department's there, and I'm there, and I got the kids' grades up on the smart board so like everybody can see them or whatever. And the parents like giving me shit, and I look at my head of the department, and he's just kind of like, I don't know. So I just like literally I clicked it and I made it an 85, and I was like, are we done? and the parent was like, well, how could you just do that? And I was like, which do you want, 85 or 75? Which would you like rather have? And they were like, well, I guess the 85. I was like, great, we're done, see you later. And I just walked out of it.
Like, this is a great use of my time, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm just going out.
It's bad. Like some parents, not all, some parents.
Well, there are some good ones out there, I'm sure, in the ether of somewhere.
I would say it's like 60-40, like good parents to terrible ones.
That's fair. That's it. I think that's very fair.
So you talked about, you know, the current parenting stuff. So Bethany and I, my niece moved to Florida recently. She just graduated high school. Her graduating class, and I put that in quotations, was how many people?
400.
400. They let all of them walk. Less than half of them qualified under Florida current regulations for an actual high school diploma, but they let them all walk.
And I was like, listen here, as someone who had to attend this graduation, why? Because we could have cut this in half. This could have been an hour of my time, and then it was like almost 3 hours of my time.
Yeah.
And I'm just personally not here for it.
Yeah, that's No Child Left Behind for you, and that's
Like,
that's kind of.
I don't understand. I don't understand what that was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's not great. It's not great, but it's you know, here in New York, it's like, you know, you have the remnants of No Child Left Behind, but you also have this concept of social promotion, and it's like, oh, well, their friends are going to go ahead, so they should go ahead, and it's like they have a 42 average.
Ooh, right.
You know, and then that just gets changed to a 50, and then they get moved forward anyway. So
it is crazy because, you know, Rob and I were a year apart. I graduated in 01, he graduated in 02, and
that's because he got held back.
No, there were. I knew plenty of kids who got left back. Like
100%.
There were several, and you know, they did not hold back when we were there at all. You know, both of us started school at the end of the 80s, early 90s. Kids in first and second grade got left back a lot, actually.
Oh,
that was
absolutely
not
they did.
back then. Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, and it's a shame. But you know, like kids also like they just they didn't. It's not that they don't care. They just do like the bare minimum. Like there's no pride in their work for whatever reason. Like middle school kids, they care. Like they're all like, I want to do the best I can. I really want to learn. Like my brain is still taking shape. They're like lit. Those kids are off the rails fun. And then like the second they get to high school, it sucks. And it's just not fun for them anymore, especially when they get to like 11th grade, 12th grade. They're just like, whatever. Like they're just on autopilot, which sucks because it's like, those are kind of fun years, you know, like 12th grade especially is fun as hell. And just, you know, they just don't see it that way.
Some people have so much fun they skip their senior prom to go to Pantera.
Pretty awesome.
They were at National Coliseum that night. I had to
go. God, remember going to concerts at the Coliseum? Damn.
Good I saw Pantera there. I saw Rage Against the Machine there. I saw Billy Joel. When I was really young with my sister, New Kids on the Block.
Hey,
nice.
Nice. A good time.
I can't remember the last concert I saw there, but I think it might have been Prince.
That's cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and he did Purple Rain, of course, is like the very last song.
Mm-hmm.
And he did like a 10-minute version of it. And towards the end, like he was just shredding because it's Prince and it's all he knows how to do is shred because he rules. And he's shredding on the guitar, and all of a sudden it started raining gold and purple glitter in the entire Coliseum.
That's cool.
Hells to the yeah.
And like literally, it was like me, my buddy Ryan, and we were the only white people there, and it was awesome. And I went to the edge because you remember how the Coliseum was up top where it had like the railing.
And it had the railing, and it had the skyboxes hanging over the seats.
Yep. And I went up to the railing, and I put my arms out like this, and it was like a religious experience. It was like the coolest thing ever. And everybody was probably like, well, who are these dorks? Like, what is happening here? But yeah, so that was a good time. But I'm looking at some of the comments. Somebody wrote, Cobb man like corn. Is it an evil corn man? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the answer is yes.
I mean, I feel like it has to be.
And that was Lego, who I'm sure is also very excited now.
Am I the only person who went to my prom? Everyone else apparently is gifted to go do cooler things. I don't know.
I went to my prom.
Okay, you went to Thank You. Thank you. You're not alone in this.
I was wrecked out of my gourd on painkillers and tequila, but yeah, I was.
But I was there. I was present at prom.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Don't miss out. Prom was a good time.
I went to 6 proms.
You went to 6 proms?
Mm-hmm.
Because he went young.
Yep.
What? How? Why? I love prom. Even I don't love prom that much.
So, growing up in a small town, a bunch of country schools around, yeah. Basically, there was nothing else to do, so I'd get invited to prom. Like, I mean, we're like small town, like 20 minutes away. Sure, let's go.
How does Barbie? We will be going tomorrow. I am very excited. I will maybe see the Bond movie at some point, but it's not a priority. Barbie is the priority.
Barbie is the priority. 1,000,000%.
1,000,000%. It's obviously going to be a much better time.
3 hours of guys in suits or Barbie.
Or this ridiculously fun cartoon come to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, would you like to have a good time, or would you like to watch boring people talk about making a bomb? No, I want to have a good time.
Do you want to see the last time human beings are going to write a movie talking about how AI is a huge threat and technology is unparalleled? Oh, wait. Do you have 3 hours to spare? How many times, Rob, are you going to have to piss? Oh, 10? Cool. I went and saw The Flash. I saw you guys tweeting about The Flash or whatever. So I went and saw The Flash, and I'm not even exaggerating. This is not a joke in any capacity. I had to pee 8 times during that movie, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I could do movies in theaters anymore. That was when I realized, and I was like, I can't. I don't think I could do it. And now I will make an exception because I rented a movie theater for The Batman. When The Batman came out last year, I rented a theater. It was me, my wife, my mom, my father-in-law, and my uncle-in-law, and that's all that was allowed to go. And it was awesome. I didn't have to go once. That movie's almost 3 hours, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. That movie's perfect. But like, wouldn't
it be great if when you rented a theater though, you could pause it? Like you could pause it.
Can do the remote.
That would be awesome. You know what? Honestly, like with how much control the guy gave us of the theater, I would have been shocked if I couldn't do that. I rented Mike. I rented PJ Cinemas in Port West. That's the theater I rented for The Batman.
That's cool.
I tried to do it for The Flash because I called my guy there, and I was like, "Yo, what's good?" And he was like, "Hey, so I saw your email. Here's the thing: we're not allowed to do it anymore." And I was like, "I'll pay you double. I will pay you double. I don't care. Like, I just want to be able to see the movie without people in the theater, because people are the worst part of going to any movie." And he couldn't do it, so I went and saw it. Of course, because it was The Flash, nobody was there, and it was great. I mean, it wasn't great. The movie wasn't great, but the experience was fine.
So we just recently moved to Savannah, Georgia, and we have an older theater. They do the theater rentals for $99, which is so much cheaper than it was. You can do it full for 20 guests for $99. But the thing is, we've been to multiple movies that have been less than 5 people in it, and that's with us going on opening weekends.
People just don't go to the movies.
They just don't go to the movies here.
There's nothing really out, and like superhero fatigue is real. Like I'm a huge superhero guy. Like Watchmen tattoo. Like I've got the Joker tattoo. Like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle right there. Like I'm all in on superheroes, but like I'm real burnt out, fam. Like it's cool when it's every 3 years you get one. You know, like that's what made the Dark Knight trilogy so good. 2005 Begins, 2008 Dark Knight, 2012 Rises. Like build anticipation, you know, and it's like Marvel cranking one out every 6 months, and it's like these movies are really not that good to begin with. Yeah, like we get a big scary thing in the sky. They're gonna come together and stop it. What else you got?
That's the thing. Is like the quality dipped off quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's true.
Like
I remember watching like everybody was talking about. I'm gonna make fun of Marvel here because it's what I like to do. But like everybody was talking about like, oh, Captain America 2. It's like an old 70s spy movie. And I remember thinking, have any of you motherfuckers ever seen a 70s spy movie? Because that ain't it.
No.
That's a dude in tights running around on a giant flying machine fighting Robert Redford for some reason. What are we talking about? I don't know who William heralded, but this guy is like constant Rocky Horror references. Like dial it down, my guy. We get it. Tim Curry rules, but holy shit. I don't know who that is, but chill out. I like it. I like him.
No, we love William Harold. He's a good dude.
Patient.
He's a big Detroit Lions fan and like long time suffering. So he's anybody who's a long time suffering Detroit Lions fan. That's somebody who's loyal.
As a new Detroit Lions fan, I'm so happy to join this pack.
But yeah, so like I don't know. I think Barbie will be awesome. I was talking to my niece today, who's 10, and she was like, "I saw that. I watched The Meg," and I was like, "The Meg 2 is coming out. You want to go see it?" And she's like, "Yeah, it looks really crazy." And I was like, "Yeah, it does."
Yes.
So we're both charged up for Barbie and The Meg.
Yeah, The Meg was the best studio comedy of 2018.
Hype for. I will have to say, I don't watch a lot of 70s spy thriller movies,
right?
To be honest, but I do think that The Winter Soldier is the best MCU film.
That's
so
what her favorite.
I am guilty as charged. That one is my favorite.
If it was Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I would agree with you, but it's
Guardians 2.
Guardians 2 is by far the best Marvel
so
movie.
A lot of people don't like Guardians 2.
I'm not a Guardians 2 person.
Guardians 2 a lot. I think the first one is better, but I did like the sequel, and I like the third one a lot.
You know, and this is interesting too, because like I don't know, like I'm like because I think a lot about superheroes. Like I think about like the DC pantheon in the way that Catholics think about the Bible, and like I just like kind of live in that world in my brain a lot, and I always think about like, and you know, like I like Batman versus Superman, and I like Zack Snyder's Justice League and stuff, but like I'm a big fan of thinking like when there's not everything needs a whole team of people to come together, and like not every single threat should be like a world-ending threat. Like Captain America 3, Civil War, right? That's the third one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting movie because it's like Baron Zemo doesn't care about the world. He just wants to see them kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's an interesting plot point. Guardians 2 is an interesting plot point because it's about his family, even though it does turn into like, oh, things are exploding all over the world, galaxy, whatever. But like, it's those smaller stories. And like Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man one with the kid. What's his face? What's that?
Homecoming?
Yeah, Michael Keaton. Yeah. Michael Keaton as the Vulture or whatever. Like, that's so small stakes. Daredevil, all the Daredevil series, like it's small stakes. When that stuff is working best is when it's all small stakes. So like for the Avengers to come together finally to deal with something that's like, hey, it's Alien 9/11 in the city, which like that's dope. But like that's how it should be, you know, or like, you know, in Batman versus Superman, when it's Doomsday and it's like Superman's fucked. So it's like it kind of makes sense for Batman and Wonder Woman to get in on this, but like really that should be saved for like the entire Justice League to fight. Like that's a much more interesting battle to me, is like all of the heroes in America coming together to stop this one thing. But I don't know, it's just like the rinse repeat of it. I think the last Marvel movie I saw in theaters was the Thor one with Christian Bale. And I remember thinking like, yeah, I think I'm done. Like I just had nothing left. Like it was fine.
The screaming goats didn't do it for you.
The what that?
The screaming goats.
Oh my god! I forgot about that until you just said it. Jesus, you know which part I liked when the kids were fighting set to the Guns N' Roses song? Like that was cute.
Yeah, wasn't it? I don't know. I think Ragnarok was really good, and then Love and Thunder was not so good.
Right.
So my wife likes Ragnarok, and I don't remember anything about it at all.
Well, Jeff Goldblum, that's
I love Jeff Goldblum.
That's your key point from that. And I did enjoy that one a lot actually.
I think it's too like it's going back to like the idea of empty theaters and stuff like, and there really isn't anything out there. So like to see something like Barbie, which is so interesting. Barbie in a lot of ways reminds me of Speed Racer. You guys remember the Speed Racer movie, the Wachowski Speed Racer movie, which by the way, it's fucking awesome. That movie is fucking awesome. And it was also at the time it was the reason to own a Blu-ray player.
Right, I remember that.
Because that was just like the colors, that and The Dark Knight, like the colors in both of those movies were just like unbelievable. It was like watching a cartoon. But like we haven't seen anything really that thrilling until now, like with Barbie, and it's like it's just very exciting to see that. And it's like I get it, a 3-hour movie about a bomb, very cool, very important, probably going to win all the Oscars. That's great. But give me that candy colored silliness. Give me Ryan Gosling with a 6-pack.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it.
Every single scene of him.
And what's his face too? The Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi. Simu Liu.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The beach off scene is just
like. And actually, I did like Shang-Chi. I thought Shang-Chi was cool because I like him.
Of the more recent Marvel movies, that's way towards the top of it. Yeah, from 100%.
Yeah.
So I just got done watching 5 seasons of a TV show he was in. Have you guys heard of Kim's Convenience? I was trying to sell Mike on this.
No, that's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Yeah. Basically, think Clerks. But it's a Korean immigrant family, and it's in Canada.
Yes, I've heard good things about it, but I haven't watched it.
I've never watched it. I've heard of it. I don't have Netflix.
I go through seasons. I buy my streaming services a la carte for 1 month at a time.
Yeah, he goes through them rapid fire.
Yeah, it's
like it's really smart considering how expensive they are right now.
Yeah. Considering that basically we've turned into cable all over again.
That's such a good point too. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, because I was thinking about what my mom pays for cable, and she's still paying per month more than what I pay per year for all the streaming services. So I was like, that is true. I guess in different parts of the country it's different, but like here for sure it's still cheaper. But I do wish I wish we had Netflix for the Great British Bake Off. That's really the only. I don't watch. Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like fiction other than Yellow. Well, we're not going to have anything in the fall, everybody.
Yeah, there are no shows.
Yeah, like they literally. I watch Yellow Jackets, which I love, even though I think that I don't think they're gonna give me what I want in the end because I don't think they're going to go as hard with the horror as they should. Severance is gone. That show's done.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of like anything else that I really care about. RuPaul's Drag Race is like my favorite thing right now. It's like in terms of fiction shows, I can't think about like I just don't know other than Yellow Jackets. Like that's the only one. And I know they literally had one day in the writer's room and then they went on strike.
Yeah.
Oh, Peacemaker. I liked Peacemaker a lot.
Peacemaker was.
We started Peacemaker,
And we
never
never
finished it.
finished it. And it wasn't because of lack of quality, it was like lack of time. And then I was like, yeah, we'll get back into
And we
it.
just
And
never
then we just
went back to it.
never did.
It's
The
very
last
the
episode.
last episode is very funny. I think the whole thing is funny, but like the last episode is a nice denouement to the series or whatever. I'm looking at the Legoland quote. I don't understand the cable comparison. Never had cable, but they aired a program schedule, right? Versus now you can pick whatever you want. Yeah, they had a program schedule, but like they had like a DVR, which is a digital video recorder that you could get.
We had VHS back in the, we had.
Yeah,
We had like our VHS was set for back when we were in high school, like
We definitely used to tape things.
Thursday nights NBC from 8 to 10. But the whole if we weren't home, it was recording that.
Yep.
My mother, entire life she switched to DVR, and now it's no longer on cable, but watched Days of Our Lives on NBC, which was on NBC at 1 o'clock every day. Had the VCR set for that. I could not watch anything at 1 o'clock for my entire life when we had a VCR, and but like you had to do that. That you didn't have another choice if you weren't home, because certainly a show like that does not play in reruns. Like you cannot watch a soap opera in reruns because of the nature of the story.
The amount of time that your mother spent watching Days of Our Lives in her life is honestly really insane when you think about it. Like she has watched that for most of her life.
But
pretty close to her whole life, yeah.
You could like make the comparison of like a long-running soap opera with like the long-running narrative of the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like it's operatic, it's Shakespearean, it's big, it's really smart storytelling. I think, and like I don't watch soaps, I don't watch wrestling anymore, but like, I respect the shit out of the soap writers and the WWE writers and stuff, because that shit ain't easy.
There's no off season. They have to do a continuous.
Right. And like soap work is cool too, because I knew a lot of actors and stuff who were like did a lot of soap work, and like they worked all the time. They made good livings doing
good
background. Yeah, like
that's a real good paycheck.
You're gonna say no to like, I'll do like 5 days as a background actor on Days of Our Lives and make.
Also, anyone who shits on soap opera actors, like you tried, like they're speaking of working all the time, like you're given these pages the day before. You have to go in. It's these very dramatic scenes. Like I can't, sure, is it the best work they're ever doing? But like the amount that they have to do and
they have to do it like that.
Like honestly, and the amount of people that have gone on to, be in quote unquote serious acting from it. Like, yeah, I think that's a great, like kind of boot camp. And
it's like live theater. It's almost like live theater in a lot of ways, like changing it almost on the fly too. It's I don't know. You'll never hear me. What's that?
They're not doing multiple
No,
takes.
they don't have time for that.
They don't have time for it. Yeah.
No, they can't.
Like that's
it's really interesting.
Like kudos. I feel like overall soap operas, which they kind of like barely exist anymore.
Days of Our Lives is like the only one of the only ones that's every day, and it's not on NBC. It's on Peacock.
It's on Peacock now.
And and like when they do bring them back, they put them on as like a CW show and give it like Dynasty. They brought not Dynasty. What's the one?
Dynasty.
It was Dynasty. It was Dynasty. Yeah. But it's
probably another one, but
so VCR's Legoland. VCR's are these things that have tape.
He's about our age.
And they were awesome. Recording shit was cool. I used to set things to record all the time. DVR was like a godsend, but it had like a hard drive. But yeah, I kind of miss those days because like, I'm not a huge fan of like everything being released at once. Like, pace it out, baby. Yeah, like
I love a good
loves
binge.
it, hates it.
He does not like binging.
I hate binging.
I love binging, and I hate that Disney Plus went back to like more old school. Let's release it week by week. No, put that season out. I want to watch it.
Stranger Things. She wakes up the second it drops
at 3 a.m. and I watch it.
She'll be through it.
That is what I would like to do.
I think if it's like an older thing, binging can be fun because if you're into it or whatever. But like, I'm trying to think like the last time they released, maybe it was Stranger Things, the newest season, Stranger Things. They staggered, right, the release of it as opposed to giving you everything at once. Yeah, and I remember thinking like, I kind of like this better for Stranger Things because like I hate that show kind of generally across the board, but I thought season 4 was awesome. Like I thought season 4 was by far their best, but like, it was. I think I liked it because they staggered it. I'm here for that binge too, Bethany.
I love a binge.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of media. We can consume it however we want.
We can all do it.
Well, that is 100% true with where we are now, as opposed to where we were 20 years ago. If you want to watch it all at once, you can. You don't have to worry about the time.
Yeah, everyone do their own.
You can do your own thing.
You
guys, pretty much live sports. Live sports is the only thing that you have to watch. That's pretty much
wait. Can we segue into sports talk for a quick minute? Okay.
One more quick thing. One more quick thing on VCRs. If you want a really soothing experience, like something that I've been using like fall asleep, people have been taking old recordings on VHS tapes of like, say they recorded all of Nick at Night from one random weekend in '95, and they digitized it and uploaded it with the commercials intact.
The commercials.
Yeah.
I was watching American Gladiators with the commercials attached during quarantine, and the commercials astounded me.
It's so soothing in the weirdest way.
Which is so weird that now, when you watch old commercials, you're like, oh yeah, I'm psyched for commercials. But when you're watching a current thing, you're like, these fucking commercials.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in 20 years I'll be nostalgic for these Flonase commercials or whatever. Okay, wait. I have a question. William, if you're still in the chat, can you please answer this to me? As a seasoned Detroit Lions fan, I need to know if this is okay. So Minnesota, I feel like I can't like because they're in our division.
Right.
They're in our division, so I can't like them. And I don't like them, okay? I want to make it clear I'm not a Vikings fan. But I now love Kirk Cousins. Is that okay? Can you answer me that? They're not the Packers. I know we're supposed to hate the Packers. But, like, what's our hatred level of the Vikings? Because I honestly don't know, and I need to know. Thank you.
I mean, I'll quickly, I'm a lifelong Jets fan. And for me, it's New England is public enemy number 1, and then it's just varying
Everyone
degrees.
Else is like, oh, whatever.
Right.
They're fine.
Yeah,
Packers, no, I know that much. Like, that's our biggest rival.
I feel like the Packers is everybody in that division's rival.
Well, true. Because they're the fucking Packers. But I don't know. Other than that, I don't know who else I'm supposed to hate. So if you can tell me who I'm supposed to hate.
Well, the Bears and the Lions.
I'm really good at hating things. But that makes
rivals.
sense with the Lions and Bears. Okay, I can hate the Bears. I'll talk shit to Kyle. That's fine. I'm into that. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, I feel good about that.
Gary Anderson. I mean,
has anyone else watched Quarterback? I just wanted to go. I'm going to go on record.
It's on Netflix.
That Kirk Cousins is the most Midwestern man. He is just
Midwestern
a Midwestern dorky man, and I love it. I don't love that he went and volunteered at the Salvation Army because I have very not good feelings about the Salvation Army. But other than that, he's like the most white dorky man, like white Midwestern dad I've ever, and it's so endearing to me.
It's unintentional comedy.
Okay. Is he like, we're going to go to the Jason Aldean concert, or like, talk about that?
Like, he was talking about how his wife buys his wardrobe, and she's like, yeah, I got it at Kohl's. Like, and it became a meme and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, cool. And they won a game. I don't know if you saw this.
He's just so nerdy.
They won a game. Nerdy. They were on their flight back, and he took his shirt off on the plane, and they put a bunch of gold chains on him, and the picture is fucking hilarious.
He's trying to dance, but he's just doing this.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a white man. He just like a Tuesday afternoon for him is like chilling at Barnes and Noble, and I'm like, I love this man. I love that he just wants to go read books and like tuck his kids in every night, and like they drive a Ford, like all these other football players, it's like, this is the hottest cars or whatever, and he drives a Ford because of fucking course he does, because he's a mid-American man. Like, it's so funny to me.
$20 million a year, and he's driving a $70,000 car.
Oh my God, Jesus! I haven't watched. God, I'm trying to think of the last time I watched a football game, and honestly, I think it was Super Bowl Lady Gaga, and that was the only reason I watched.
I worked that game.
Yeah, that was what year was that? That was 2018?
18, I think, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You worked that game? What do you mean?
Well, I
worked at a sports bar.
So it was like a crazy, that's how I think of the Super Bowls. It's like which ones I worked, how terrible was it, how nice were the fans. I just remember going upstairs and Gaga was on, so yeah.
That's awesome. I still watch that on YouTube. I'll just pull that up and be like,
her halftime show was one of the best ones in recent history.
Rihanna's last year was subpar.
I did not like it.
It was not great.
The year before that, though, the year before that with Dre and Snoop and Eminem, I love that one.
That
was cool. Top five. For me, it's always Prince, Lady Gaga, Michael Jackson, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the top three.
Ooh,
Prince
and then
the
Indiana Jones stunt show.
Oh, the Indiana Jones stunt show.
Oh my God.
Indiana Jones stunt
Honestly,
show.
so iconic.
If you go before, I think
So iconic.
before Michael Jackson did Heal the World, which was the one that kind of started the major acts doing it. The halftime shows at the beginning of the Super Bowls, like the first 20, are terrible.
But so good.
But in a hilarious way. Like if you can find them on YouTube, watch them because they're so hilariously bad. But then Michael Jackson came and he did his big one, and I think there was like 2 or 3 years between. It was when Aerosmith and NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, I don't remember which one.
NSYNC, yeah.
Aerosmith and NSYNC did it, and all of a sudden they got a lot more sponsorship for the halftime show, and since then it's been something major pop stars ever since. But the old halftime show, man, some of them are hilariously bad. The Indiana Jones one is so it's so bad.
It was in honor of the opening ride in Disneyland. Yeah, it was like a little self promo.
So have you seen Basketball?
Yeah,
going back, yeah. So they parody the Indiana Jones halftime show in that movie during the halftime show, like the last game in the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Exchanging the pineapple.
Yep, the exchange of the pineapple or whatever.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I think it needs a rewatch. But
I wonder how that holds up.
I watched
not well.
He made me watch it sort of recently. It's not great, in my humble opinion.
I loved it.
But I also don't. That movie was not made for me. Let's just put it that way.
It's a product of its time. It's a late 90s movie, and it's late 90s Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yes.
And also David Zucker. So it's all of that combined. It's a product of its time. It's still very funny at times, but there are certainly some things in it that are dated.
Like I'm a huge, like, to me, like the funniest movie of all time is still Blazing Saddles. Like I know it's super racist, but that's the point. So like I know that couldn't exist nowadays. Like it just wouldn't. There's no
Mel Brooks as a whole
reality where that movie could happen. But like it's just still so funny, And like Airplane is still so funny, and Young Frankenstein is still so funny. Like all those things are still so funny. So like Basketball is still funny, but like kind of like if I was to show it to my nephew,
right?
You know what I mean? I'd have to be like, so here's the thing about the 90s, like I don't think I'm not like a huge South Park guy. Like my wife loves South Park. She's been to Casa Bonita and all that, and it's like a whole, she's like a big super fan. But like, I liked Basketball. I didn't like South Park, but like she's shown me a couple episodes of South Park. I'm like, that's pretty funny, but it's still like even modern South Park is still like super offensive, but that's like the gist of it in general. But it's still
still after
funny, I guess.
Everybody. They don't have an agenda. They go for everyone.
My personal beef with whatever. What are their names? Trey Parker and
Matt Stone.
First of all, love Book of Mormon. So thanks for giving us that 10 out of 10.
That's a fantastic play.
But they're just so, and this is not their fault. It's just the time they're raised in. But they're just so the Gen X, like, mood apathetic. Like, it's cool not to care about shit. And I just can't, like, whatever. If you're going to offend everyone with your show, that's cool. That's fine. Like, I mean, it's not cool, but like, that's fine. Like, you're being an equal opportunist and offending people. But the whole like Gen X of like, we're not gonna care about stuff just bothers the hell out of me. I'm like, it's cool to care, okay? Actually,
it is cool to care. I'm with you, Bethany. I'm with you. It is cool to care. God damn it. That's why you guys do a charity every month, and that's why I'm doing the charity thing that I'm doing.
Because it's cool to care.
God damn it.
That's my one thing. I can't. with them. But I feel like as they've gotten older, they've matured a little bit out of that. Like they care a little bit now and stuff.
They literally bought that restaurant.
Yeah, and that's really cool.
You know, and like they're paying like $25 an hour.
Yeah.
And it's like
30. It's 30.
Yeah.
Oh, is it $30 an hour they're paying?
$30 an hour they're paying. So it's like actually like a living wage. And the thing is, like, they are losing money. The amount that they put into renovating that restaurant, they may never recover. But it's a labor of love, and they wanted to do it.
Yeah, I respect that. I do think as the older they get, the more they kind of care, which is nice.
Just pitch. What is it? Didn't they make like an ungodly amount of money for the 2 South Park animated movies they made during the pandemic?
Not only that, they got both. They double dipped somehow because Paramount owned the rights to the initial streams, and HBO Max has the rights to re-air them. So they got both.
That's awesome.
They made
a couple more times.
Ungodly amount of money on that.
They're doing okay. They're fine.
Plus, they like refined that deep fake technology to do that sassy justice thing, which was like alarmingly good and alarmingly accurate with the effects or whatever.
Right.
Like if they could do more of that shit, that could be very dangerous for everyone going forward. But dangerous in a cool way.
I don't know what this is.
So they did this thing where they basically took like deep fake technology and they spent millions of dollars to refine it, to make it stronger, to make it more accurate, to make it realistic, like very realistic. And they were able to take like, you know, they would just like, let's say like me, right? And they would put like Angela Lansbury's face on mine, and it would look like Angela Lansbury's head on my dumb body. So they had a guy in a suit, and they put Trump's head on his, and he didn't sound like Trump, but it looked like actual physical Donald Trump talking to you. But he was talking like this, and he was going by the name Sassy Justice. And like they had what's her name? The Hills Are Alive, The Sound of Music.
Julie Andrews?
Yeah. And they had Julie Andrews, but her name was like Melanie Wong or something, and she was supposed to be 8. It was very strange. It almost felt like an Adult Swim thing. Like it had that like Adult Swim fever dream, but they only did like an hour special, and everyone was like, holy shit, like this is the best deep fake stuff we've ever seen. And it blows like any like the Bill Hader deep fakes that you see of him on like, you know, old talk shows or whatever, like the Tom Cruise ones, blows those out of the water. Like those are the buzzing of flies to the stuff that the Stone and Parker did.
But then there's stuff like The Flash.
And then there's stuff like The Flash. So I'm sure you guys saw that. I think it was on TikTok or whatever, but there was that one special effects guy who was like, yeah, there's a reason this looks bad because we're not given enough time to like make the shit look good.
So I still haven't seen the whole movie, but now I've seen the scene. I'm like, there is no way that you allow this onto purposefully onto a theatrical cut when I saw how bad it looks. Like,
yeah.
Are you talking about the cameo scene or the baby in the microwave scene?
All of it. All the special effects.
Well, I haven't seen the baby in the microwave.
Wait, the Nicolas Cage bit?
That's part of it.
Hashtag spoilers.
But the Nicolas Cage bit, I will give a little bit of credit because I'm a huge Kevin Smith fanboy. He is fighting the giant spider, which there is that legendary Kevin Smith story about it. So that I liked that little Easter egg. That's something the general public probably had no idea why Spider-Man is fighting a giant fucking spider. But if you know the Kevin Smith story, that scene becomes kind of funny, actually.
He's also fighting Doomsday too. There's like a part where they show him fighting Doomsday. Like if they had done it well, that whole scene, I'm just gonna spoil it because nobody saw this fucking movie anyway. So like Barry goes into the Speed Force, and it sort of does like the cosmic. If you know your DC and you know your Flash, he goes into the Speed Force. He's on what's like essentially the cosmic treadmill, but there is no cosmic treadmill. It's really stupid. Anyway, so he's able to access all the points in the multiverse, and he sees Nicolas Cage Superman fighting the giant spider, like you said. And when I saw it, I was like, "Holy shit! Is that Nicolas Cage spider?" And then like they show it up close and it looks awful. Then they show Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater, Superman and Supergirl. And like I have a weird thing with Superman. Like it just hits me in the heart almost every time I see him, because he's like the pinnacle of what we all should try to be. And so like when I see Christopher Reeve again, I'm like, huh. You know, and like I get choked up. But again, it's CG Christopher Reeve because he's been dead for like 20 years.
Right.
And then they show Adam West, which is cool. Like it's cool to see Adam West. They show the Golden Age Flash, but like it has no consequence because you don't know who it is.
Yeah, and it's
like,
not the guy who was in him in the TV show, but it looks like that guy.
It does. It looks like Teddy Sears. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not him, which is weird. Now, the way you do this movie is you have him see, just like you did during the Crisis on Infinite Earths TV thing, you have the kid from the show in the movie in the way that you had the guy from the movie in the show.
Mm.
It's not that hard, everybody. And like, not for nothing, but like, that's my Barry Allen. Like, that's the Barry Allen I love. But I don't know. I still say replace what's their name with Elliot Page for Barry Allen going forward.
Ooh.
Okay, so I had this idea actually like immediately after it happened. You remember when there was that Zack Snyder movie that came out and Chris D'Elia, they took him out and they just green screened in Tig Notaro?
Yep.
So the idea is anytime that somebody does something and you can't be in that movie anymore, you got tigged. It's Tig Notaro every time.
Yeah. I think that's fair, honestly.
And who doesn't love
Tig Notaro?
The rumors are they just did that.
Why can't I think of what Dawson's dad's name is right now?
You watched it way more than that. I mean, I've seen Dawson's Creek, but I don't remember the dad's name.
Well, I know his name in the show, but I don't know the actor's name. But he was the OG Flash. Does he get a cameo in this movie?
Oh, yeah.
John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah, John Wesley. Yeah, exactly. And he was in the Flash TV show also.
Yeah, as the dad. Because the only reason I knew he was the OG Flash is because I watched that Flash, the more recent Flash TV show. Loved it. Cried a lot. And Mike had never seen it, and so we were watching the honest trailer of OG Flash TV show.
The CBS one.
And CBS one, and he's like, I didn't know this existed. And I go, I did, only because he's the dad, and this because they were like doing a callback because he was the OG Flash, which also he was the great dad.
Yeah.
And he's a great dad in all shows. Dawson's Creek, The Flash, he's meant to
He
play
can be
dad.
grandpa now.
And he now could be a father. Or not a father, a grandfather.
He can play grandpa at this point, yeah.
He's a grandpa.
There's rumors that what AJ just said with replacing somebody or whatever is what's happening, which is the reason why Aquaman has gone back for 3 or 4 reshoots now, because I think the idea is that they took Amber Heard out and put Patrick Wilson in.
Got you.
As Amber Heard?
As Amber Heard.
As Amber Heard, yeah.
You know what? I can do it. Let's just do it.
They're saying that movie is a colossal train wreck. Like the buzz on Aquaman 2 is so bad.
And I'm really trying to think of Elliot Page as the Flash, and I really love that
That actually is a really good casting choice.
I gotta be really into that, and I'm mad that one. They're like not going to do it now. Because the Flash is like DOA, but
all you got to do with Aquaman 2 is just release it in China first. Yep. They ate that first one up and made like $800 million in China alone. It's like
it was so weird.
That was a really.
I thought that movie had ended like 5 times, and I was like, "Oh, everybody's like, oh no, we're still." Oh, and like it was good, but pacing was so. I don't know. It needed a better edit.
I think the idea of like a sequel where it's him and his brother having an adventure is so much more interesting than him and Queen Mira having an adventure, because it's like you could have them reconcile and you can have them be cute together, because I love Patrick Wilson so much and I like Jason Momoa. He's not right for Aquaman, but like that's fine.
He's out there having a good time.
So we have not watched Fast X yet, but I've pretty much seen all of his scenes at this point. I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but I'm in for this.
I'm interested, and I haven't been interested in one of the Fast movies. The last one that I actually saw was the one that's in Miami, when they have like the thing swinging around behind it, like the the vault. Like they steal a vault and it's like swinging through the street.
Yeah,
That part's cool. So like, but I know that Jason Momoa specifically played his character as, I forget what he said. I think he said he wanted him to be essentially bisexual or to be overly
flamboyant,
sexual. Yeah,
very
like
flamboyant.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he said, and I was like, you know what? That's fucking awesome. Like that's really cool, man. Like good on you for doing that. That's dope as hell. So I kind of want to see it for that. I like Jason Momoa a lot. I think he's cool as hell. But like,
so we have a cool story about that. So we went a few years ago we were in Orlando and they do their big Comic-Con. It's called MegaCon. And he was there and had to cancel like his first 2 days. And we went on Sunday because it was the cheapest day. We were actually in line to meet Billy D. Williams.
Oh, and, cool.
Jason Momoa's line is massive. Like he has like 10 different groups of people and stuff. Before he was taking pictures, he went out and high-fived everybody in his line. Like just walked up and down the line, high-fiving everybody. And the real funny thing was he had his 2 security guards with him and he towered over a security because he's a big, like Jason Momoa is, you know, I'm 6'2". Jason Momoa is probably a good 2-3 inches taller than I am.
Wow.
And he's got these 2 security guards who are, don't get me wrong, they're jacked, but he's towering over them.
He was way bigger than
I think but he's always just cool. Like he always just seems like a really nice, cool guy. I love him cheerleading for like his Game of Thrones friends and shit. Like he doesn't have to do that stuff. He doesn't have to talk about the Khaleesi still, but he does.
But he does, yeah.
Like that.
The day that we saw him at MegaCon, because that was before like Aquaman was coming out, and we're buying a ticket to go see Aquaman. Like I will support anything that man is in because he just seems like a genuinely like nice.
Seems like a nice dude.
Yeah,
I was like, I would like to support that man's career. He seems.
And I will say his little part in the Flash is pretty funny.
I think he gets it though. Like Jason Momoa understands what his role in Hollywood is. Embraces it, and not everybody is at that point, especially his age. Like a lot of actors, when they get older, hit that point. Jason Momoa understands where he's supposed to be in Hollywood very well right now, and that's a good thing.
Oh yeah. Did you ever see? It was like one of his first movies, Bullet to the Head with Stallone.
Yes. Now that you said it was Stallone, yes, I did. I watched it on like Amazon or something like that.
It's an awesome movie, and he is such a good bad guy. It is crazy, and Stallone talks so much shit to him right before they fight, and it is great. That is an excellent movie. William Harold says Jason Momoa plays the Joker in Fast X, and it's the best thing in the movie. I believe it. That's
like again, I haven't watched all the scenes, but I've seen his scenes, and it's like the Joker like amplified too. Like
that's cool.
He's not in a Fast movie. He is doing something. He's in a different script than everybody else.
And then so I'm not a big nostalgia guy. Like I look at nostalgia, and I think nostalgia is the poison of the well of creativity. In a lot of ways, like I hate nostalgia. I hate all of that stuff. But I will say, like, if you are, and I love Batman '89. I remember every single second of seeing that movie in theaters at the Patchogue movie theater.
Comac.
Oh, you saw it at Comac? Dope. And like, I remember sitting there watching it. I was 5 years old. I was sitting with my parents. I remember every single second of seeing that movie in theaters. I love Batman '89. So seeing Michael Keaton in the Batsuit again is pretty great. And his performance is weird, but like knowing that his Batman succeeded,
right?
And again, I'm spoiling the Flash here because who cares? But like knowing that the eventual reality of Keaton's Batman is he succeeded, and he eventually like led to a crime-free Gotham. It's kind of nice to know that that's what happened to that guy. Like that's pretty dope.
Bow.
What's that?
It's a good little bow.
Yeah, it's nice, and I'll say, Ben Affleck also quite good in his opening sequence as Batman. When Wonder Woman shows up, it's kind of stupid, but she's fantastic. Batman's suit is terrible. It's probably the worst bat suit I've ever seen, but he's really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so glad they're just hopefully hitting the full reset button on all this stuff. Like I want a good, hopeful, optimistic Superman movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I think his quote of being like, you know, this should be a character you want to walk up to and like hug and thank, like that. I think he gets it.
Hey, speaking of people who want to hug and thank, Juice, where the heck have you been all episode?
So sorry, guys. So sorry I'm late. Just happy to be here. I'm ready.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
It's 2 minutes for roping. I like that.
You're a jabroni.